You have good ideas, a good resume, and you work hard, right? But you can never get past "how are you" in a conversation, so don't leave this video. I know you know people who win over an entire room with just a glance or the way they walk in. And no, that's not talent, it's technique. If you ever feel like people don't take you seriously, don't really listen, or just overlook you completely, then you're missing the most crucial moment in any interaction. I'm going to show you 4 techniques that will make you magnetic in the first 10 seconds of any conversation. And the last one, it's practically a secret weapon of influence that very few people know about. Drop a comment below, I want to be magnetic. And get ready, because after this, being ignored won't be your problem anymore. There's one day, I'll never forget, I walked into a room ready to impress. I was confident, prepared, I had everything mapped out. But all it took was a few sideways glances, a couple seconds of silence, and this strange tension in the air, and I knew something was off. Before I even said a word, I had already been labeled, and not in a good way. It was like my presence had zero value. That moment stuck with me. I became obsessed. I kept asking myself what I did wrong, or worse, what I didn't do. Because I knew I had something to say. I had substance. But it felt like the way I presented myself blocked everything before my voice even had a chance. That's when I came across a study from Princeton University. It showed that the human brain takes just milliseconds to form a first impression, and that impression sticks so deeply, it shapes how people see you going forward. That's when I realized my communication was failing before I even opened my mouth. Things changed when I started digging into what really makes someone come across as magnetic right from the start. What creates that instant charisma, that quiet authority, that presence that doesn't need to ask for attention, that I discovered that our bodies are constantly sending signals, even when we're not aware of it. And once you learn how to control those signals, everything shifts. That's what I want to share with you today. Your face speaks before your voice does, and it speaks loud. Most people don't realize it, but they carry subtle signs of tension, insecurity, or disinterest on their face that push others away before they even say hi. For the longest time, I believed that keeping a neutral expression made me look serious and focused. But do you know how the brain actually reads a neutral face? As cold, arrogant, or even unfriendly. Research by Dr. Paul Ekman, a global expert on facial expressions, shows that the human brain picks up micro-expressions and emotional cues in just fractions of a second. And those tiny signals automatically influence whether someone will trust you or not. It's not logical. It's instinctive. If you walk into a room with a clenched jaw, tense eyes, and a closed-off expression, you might be unknowingly sending the message that you're uncomfortable, uninterested, or worse, a threat. So what changes that? A subtle, genuine smile, especially in the eyes. A steady, calm, open gaze that instantly triggers a sense of safety and connection in the other person, even without a single word. And to develop that, there's a simple exercise I did for weeks, mirror training. Yep, watching my own face as I entered a room, greeted someone, or just sat in silence. Because if I wouldn't trust what I saw in the mirror, why would anyone else? But of course, your face is just the beginning. Because if your body doesn't match the message, it all falls apart. And what's coming next might be even more critical for making a strong first impression. Technique number 1, subtle facial expressions. Your face speaks before your mouth does, and it speaks loud. Sometimes you walk into a room and don't even realize you're frowning, tense, or scanning the space like you want to escape. And without knowing it, you're already telling the world, I don't want to connect, I don't feel safe, or even I don't care. It took me a while to understand this. I used to think a neutral expression was enough. But in reality, a neutral face is often read as cold or arrogant. A small, genuine smile, even a subtle one, triggers a sense of openness and trust in others. And this isn't just a hunch, it's backed by science. Paul Ekman, one of the world's leading researchers in body language and microexpressions, discovered that our brains can detect someone's intentions in milliseconds just by looking at their face. Milliseconds. It's like the brain has a built-in radar constantly scanning for signs. Does this person seem confident, nervous, trustworthy, threatening? And this all happens before we even realize we're being observed. If your jaw is tight, your eyes are wandering, or your expression is stiff, you might be pushing people away without having a clue. But an open face with steady eyes and a subtle smile that reaches them can open doors before you even say hello. That's why, if you want to make a strong first impression and stand out right away, start by training in front of a mirror. Yes, train. Notice how your face looks when you walk into a room. when you're anxious, or when you're excited. Ask yourself simple questions like, would I trust someone who looks like this? Would I feel drawn to them? A small tweak in how you hold your gaze or your smile can be the difference between being ignored and being noticed. Out of course, your face alone can't carry the whole message. Because if your body doesn't back it up, the contradiction breaks the magic right in those crucial first few seconds. Technique number 2, body language that communicates presence. You might not even realize it, but the way you walk into a room already tells the world how you feel. Your body posture is your first business card, and it doesn't lie. Slouched shoulders, crossed arms, lowered head, all of that sends a clear message, even if you say nothing at all. And that message is usually, I don't want to be noticed, or worse, I don't feel safe here. For years, my default gesture was crossing my arms. It felt comfortable. I thought it made me look calm and composed. But in reality, it looked like I was constantly on defense. That it wasn't until a friend pointed out, very bluntly, that I had a wake-up call. I started paying attention and realized my body was sabotaging my presence. The way I stood, the space I occupied, even how I walked, it was all shrinking my impact. Everything changed when I started practicing a more open posture, even when I was nervous. Feet grounded, chest slightly forward, chin parallel to the floor, arms relaxed and visible. This kind of body language communicates confidence, even if, inside, you're shaking. And here's the powerful part. It doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you feel about yourself. There's scientific proof. Your posture shapes your emotional state. Your body molds your mind. And now that you understand how your body can become your biggest ally, it's time to fine-tune another subtle but powerful detail. One most people completely overlook, yet directly affects how others perceive you. Technique number 3, intentional tone and speaking pace. Your voice can either be your greatest ally or your biggest saboteur. It's not just what you say that matters, but how you say it. Have you ever been cut off mid-sentence, like your words carried no weight? Or realized people weren't really listening, even though you thought you were being clear? That often has more to do with tone, pace, and vocal intensity than with the actual words. I learned this the hard way during an important presentation. I was so focused on sounding prepared that I rushed through everything. I'd spent days organizing my content, but no one seemed to absorb it. At the end, someone came up to me and said, "You sounded nervous. It was hard to follow you." That hit hard, because I knew my content was solid, but the way I delivered it completely undercut its impact. That's when I came across a finding by UCLA psychologist Albert Mehrabian. 38% of communication comes from vocal tone. In other words, before people process what you say, they react to how your voice sounds. A calm, steady tone with natural pauses signals confidence. But speaking too fast, or in a voice that's too soft, sends a message of anxiety or uncertainty. If you want to practice this, start simple. Read a short paragraph out loud like you're telling a magical story to a child, someone you want to keep fully engaged. Record it. Listen. Repeat. Little by little, bring that same energy into your everyday conversations, especially during the first few seconds. Sometimes, a well-placed good morning, said with presence, carries more power than a full speech. But there's still one more element that completes this entire equation. Something most people completely overlook, yet it can become your signature in the first moments of any interaction. Technique number 4, gestures that reinforce your presence. Your hands tell the truth when your words hesitate. Even your smallest gestures can either strengthen your message or completely undermine how people see you. Closed-off movements, hidden fingers, crossed arms, or hands buried in your pockets. They all communicate insecurity, disconnection, or even distrust. But open, visible, intentional gestures create a direct bridge between you and your listener. I started noticing this while watching great communicators in the US. None of them used gestures randomly. Everything felt natural, but it was clearly intentional. Their hands followed their words, adding power, clarity, and authenticity to their message. So I decided to try it out, starting with 3 simple shifts. Keep your hands visible. Open your palms when offering an idea. Avoid crossing your arms. While speaking, the impact was immediate. People paid more attention. They seemed to trust me faster. It wasn't magic, it was alignment between body and voice. Now, I want to challenge you with a practical exercise to accelerate your progress. I call it the 10 by 10 challenge. For the next 7 days, pick 10 moments per day when you start an interaction. It could be in the elevator, at work, on the street, during a phone call or a video chat. And in the first 10 seconds, apply the 4 elements you've learned. A genuine, subtle smile on your face. An open, grounded posture. A steady, confident voice. Visible, intentional gestures. At the end of each day, write down what changed. How did people react? How did you feel? This will show you, through experience, the real power of first impressions. And once this becomes second nature, you'll notice something amazing. Most doors won't need to be pushed open anymore, but they'll open on their own. When you master the first 10 seconds of a conversation, everything changes. You stop being just another face in the crowd and start being noticed, respected, and heard. And this isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about aligning what you project with who you truly are. Confidence, authority, and charisma don't need a stage. They just need intention. Now you have 4 clear, practical, and proven techniques that can completely transform the way people see you. And more importantly, the way you feel in every interaction. Presence is built in the details. So practice, adjust, observe. Because when your presence starts speaking before you do, opportunities start coming to you. Drop a comment below, "My presence will speak for me." And share this video with someone who deserves to be seen, heard, and respected. Let's spread this transformation together.